Okay. I think that this fixed it. I think this is good, guys. Now we can hear me. Whoop. So I think you can see me. Now you can hear me, right? That was just a check to make sure you were paying attention. Awesome. So I think you can see me now and you can hear me. So what I said while you were just seeing my mouth move was we're talking about phrasal travel verbs today. Travel phrasal verbs today because as you can see, I'm on the road. I'm traveling. So it's relevant to what I'm doing. And it's obviously very relevant to what you could be doing in English. So phrasal verbs are a huge, huge part of conversation and of English use. You guys know how important phrasal verbs are. So I wanted to share some interesting, outside of the box, if you will, some different phrasal verbs for travel. Different than the typical check-in, check-out, which means to arrive at a hotel, give your information, and or leave, right? What are some other common phrasal verbs that you know related to travel? So let me know in the chat if you're watching. If you are watching this replay, then take a second to write down some phrasal verbs that you know related to travel. Write down some phrasal verbs that you know related to travel. So Mila, Dora, Pauline, Mohammed, Hani, who else do we have? I hope I'm not missing anyone. Let me know. Write some down in the chat. And then if you're watching the replay, write some down on a piece of paper for this lesson. What are some phrasal verbs you know that are related to travel? What are some phrasal verbs you know that are related to travel? So take a second and try to write those down. I'm going to be sharing my screen with you, and I will share some phrasal verbs today related to travel. Okay, so as you're writing those down, let's share this screen, shall we? Here we go. So this is your everyday English lesson, of course, with English outside the box. I forgot to introduce myself because I always just assume that everybody knows who I am here. So I'm Jennifer Nascimento, and I'm the teacher and founder of English Outside the Box. And English Outside the Box focuses on everyday English and helping English learners master their everyday English skills. These are everyday English skills related to speaking, writing, reading, listening, and it's skills that's going to help learners be more comfortable and more confident in their day-to-day life. So if you're traveling in English, working in English, or just living in English, these everyday lessons in English Outside the Box will help you be more confident with that. So today we're talking about phrasal verbs because these are a huge part of language, right? They're a huge part of language. So can we pop this up here? So we have freshen up, set off, check out, take in, or pop into. So these are the phrasal verbs that we are going to be reviewing today. So, man, I wish we could just view this a little bit better. Let's see. Oh, anyways, that's okay. So are any of these phrasal verbs new? Do you know what these phrasal verbs are? Do you know what these phrasal verbs are? If you know some of these, take a minute to try and define them yourself. So you're much more likely to remember, you're much more likely to be able to use later if you try to define them, if you try to explain them before you just listen to me. Listening to me is like the last resort, the lazy way. As you're thinking about some of these phrasal verbs, we're going to say hello to Ara, Margarito, Sadiq, and Lien. And we have Marlo, hello from Brazil, hello from America. I really appreciate your lessons so much. I really appreciate your lessons so much. Try not to separate the verb appreciate with the object, your lessons, with that adverb of how much, of the degree. So I really appreciate your lessons so much. Masahiro, welcome. It's so good to see you in the chat. Okay, so hopefully you have taken some time to try to define some of these yourself, because again, you're much more likely to remember these and be able to use them later if you take some time to try to work them out yourself. But let's just get right into the definitions here. Again, these are a little different, I think, than the average travel phrasal verbs that you see, because I wanted to give you some variety. Here, but let's talk about freshen up. To freshen up, when you freshen up, that means that you are going to go back to your hotel or go back to your room or wherever you are, and you are going to take a shower, change your clothes, brush your teeth, maybe wash your face, maybe you'll throw on or spray some perfume on. When you freshen up, it's when you make yourself feel a little more fresh, a little more clean, a little bit more ready to go back out and do something. So very often you might go to a place, you might go travel, and you'll be doing touristic things all day, like sightseeing. You'll go see the sights, or you'll go see the different things that a city has to offer, and you're walking all day, you're sweating, you kind of feel like, ugh, maybe dirty. So you say, okay, let's go to dinner, but before we go to dinner, let's go back to the hotel and freshen up. That freshening up is taking some time to clean up a little bit, become more fresh, to become a little fresher, and be ready to go back out on the street. So to freshen up is to do things like wash your face, brush your teeth, change your clothes, maybe even take a shower to feel a little cleaner in between things that you're doing while traveling. So if you have a sentence that you want to try to write in the chat, please do. And as we go through the rest of these lessons, or the rest of these phrasal verbs, then I will check some of these sentences and we will review them together. Pauline, as soon I'll arrive at the hotel, I'll freshen up. Great point. Pauline, you want to say as soon as is the expression, as soon as. And as soon as is an example of a time clause. So I love these everyday lessons because it gives me an opportunity to correct really common mistakes and teach you some other related English things. So Pauline in the chat wrote, as soon as I'll arrive. As soon as I'll arrive. That's a time clause. And when we have a time clause, it's a sentence that begins with a time word. As soon as, when, after, before, while, etc. When we have a time clause and we're talking about the future, we cannot, I repeat, we cannot use will in the time clause. We need to use the simple present, or we need to use the present continuous. Will is going to go in the independent clause attached. So Pauline and everybody, that sentence should be, as soon as I arrive at the hotel, I'll freshen up. As soon as I arrive at the hotel, I'll freshen up. Awesome. Okay, great job, Pauline. And if you're writing down your own sentences, great job as well. To set off, this next one, to set off means to start a journey, to start a trip. It can be starting a road trip. It can be just starting a vacation. So talking about my situation, as you know, I'm traveling. I'm in Texas this week. And I set off on this trip on Tuesday. Past tense. I set off on this trip on Tuesday. So set off is when you begin a vacation, you begin a trip, you begin a holiday. So to set off means to start a journey. For example, I set off for this trip on Tuesday. Giving you guys some time to practice. Are you setting off on any vacation soon? When are you setting off for your next vacation? You can try to answer that in the chat. You can try to answer that on a piece of paper if you are watching the replay, and we can correct some of those sentences if we are live together. Masahiro says, I'm gonna, spelling would be Gonna, but I do want to remind everybody, normally we don't write gonna unless it's a very informal setting, which, this is informal, but I have to correct you as an English teacher. Gonna is going to. So I'm gonna hang out, so freshen up right now. I'm gonna hang out, so maybe I'll freshen up right now. Good, Masahiro. Okay, so we have freshen up, we have set off. Then we have check out. You can check out something. You can check out a place. And when you check out something or you check out a place, that is when you go see something. When you go see something. So I am so excited because today we are going to go check out downtown Austin. Today we are going to go check out downtown Austin. When you check out a place or you check out something, you go and you see it. You explore it. You visit it. You look and explore it, really. So I'm going to go check out downtown Austin. What are you going to check out today? So you could say that check out is to go see something. So you can do it when you're on a vacation. I am going to Rio de Janeiro next week, and I can't wait to check out Pão de Açúcar or something like that. So practicing, you can write your own sentences. What is something you are going to check out on your next vacation? If you guys hear a dog, that is the little mutt barking. If you saw my Instagram post yesterday, you saw a picture of the dog that you probably hear barking right now. That is Tucker. So check out is to look at, to see, to go visit something. So again, try to write down some of your sentence examples so we can check. As you review that information, write down your own sentence. I am going to check out this chat. Ara Cristiano says, why don't you freshen up yourself before going to dinner? So you actually don't need the reflexive pronoun yourself. You could say, why don't you freshen up before going to dinner? Because I'm saying, why don't you freshen up? I know it is you, yourself, doing the action. So that reflexive yourself is not needed. Johafani, Natal Garcia Fernandez, freshen up is, you just got here, so a quick review of freshen up is when you quickly make yourself a little fresher or a little cleaner by maybe taking a shower, changing your clothes, washing your face, brushing your teeth to feel a little cleaner in between maybe traveling a city and being a tourist all day and then going out to dinner, for example. Dora, I need to freshen up before the next class, which is going to start in 1 hour. Yes. I set off for a trip, Masahiro. I set off for a trip to Tokyo. He will set off to England tomorrow. Great, great examples, everybody. Great examples. Let's move on to take in. To take in. To take in is, imagine you go to this beautiful, beautiful place with these beautiful, gorgeous views of a city or a country. Or you go to the Eiffel Tower and it's this historical, beautiful monument. So imagine you're traveling somewhere and you go to this place that is so beautiful, so magnificent, so wonderful. And you sit there and you stare at it and you stare at it and you look at it with awe and you look at it with just wonder. That is you taking it in. So when you take something in, that is when you just admire it for the beauty or admire it for what is good about it. So when I went to Paris, I was taking in the beauty of the Eiffel Tower. Or I can't wait to take in the beautiful views of Chapada dos Veadeiros in Brazil. I know if I travel to Indonesia, there are so many beautiful things to take in. So again, to take in is when you just take that moment to review, to admire, to look at in awe something that you find really, really admiring. Okay, so can you think of a sentence? Can you think of a sentence? Try to think about that. Try to write that down. I'm going to pop back in the chat here. Is there a past tense for freshen up? I freshened up before I went to dinner yesterday. I freshened up before dinner yesterday. I'm gonna, remember, going to is how you should write it, but the pronunciation of going to do something is gonna. I'm gonna check out my account later in order to see if I got paid. So you're using it in a different meaning related to travel, which is definitely okay. There are different ways to mean and use these phrasal verbs. Check out is, again, to look at or see something. You can also check out your account. We are going to check out the Grand Canyon tomorrow. Great, Dora. Hi, George. Mila, I'm taking my dress in that I bought yesterday. Can it be? Yes. Remember, some of these phrasal verbs, many phrasal verbs, have more than one meaning. Many phrasal verbs have more than one meaning. To make it a little easier, to make it more focused for you today, we're focusing on how to use them in travel situations. So Mila, that sentence is good. However, we are talking about take in as a travel sense of admiring the beauty of something. I take in Venice, yes. So Naf, you use that in the simple present tense. I take in Venice. Remember, when we use a verb in the simple present, we use it to talk about a habit, talk about a routine, or to talk about something that's always true. So the emphasis of your sentence, I take in Venice, means that it's something that you always do as a habit or routine. Every time I go to Italy, I always take in Venice. So remember, using a simple present tense has that emphasis, has that meaning of habits, routines, or facts or truths. Great job, everybody. And we're going to do the last one, pop in or pop into. When you pop in or you pop into a place, you go and you visit something very quickly. You pop in or you pop into, you go and you visit something very quickly. So I am going to pop into a museum today and check out the painting I want to see. I'm going to pop into that cute little store and buy a souvenir. I am going to pop into the cafe and grab a coffee. So pop in or pop into, both are okay. You're going to pop in or pop into a place. You're going to go inside of a place very quickly to do something very quickly. So in terms of travel, I've been walking around the city all day sightseeing. I'm going to pop in to grab a drink. I'm going to pop in to grab a coffee. So I take in, so listening to the teacher now, Naveed. Take in would have to have the gerund after take in. Take in, listening. Let's take in some moment to watch this beautiful building. So you don't take in some moment, it would be, let's take in this beautiful building. Let's take in this beautiful building. Let's take a moment to take in this beautiful building. When I saw the Statue of Liberty, I was taken in by its magnificence. I took in the magnificence of the Statue of Liberty. I'll take in the night view with girlfriend. Girlfriend. I'll take in the night view with my girlfriend. Yeah, we are taking in the beauty of the aurora in the Arctic. Yes, awesome. Great examples with take in. So remember, pop in or pop into is to visit a place quickly. I'm going to pop into that really cute cafe and grab a coffee. I'm going to pop in the club tonight. Don't forget your articles, a, and the, everybody. I'm going to pop in the club tonight. So NAF, that would mean that you are just going to the club very quickly. Going in, saying hello maybe, and going out. So if that's the case and you're only going into the club very, very, very quickly, then that is okay. You can say pop in. But if you're going to go to the club and you're going to dance and you're going to hang out and you're going to be there for hours, pop in would not be the correct verb to express or emphasize that. All right, so we have freshen up as a quick review. Freshen up is when you wash your face, brush your teeth, change your clothes, or do something to feel a little fresher, a little cleaner before maybe you go back out to dinner or before you go out to do something. It's not completely getting ready. It's not completely getting ready like in the morning. It's something that you freshen up, just do very quickly, and just a couple of things to feel a little cleaner. Set off is when you start a journey, you start a trip, and you start some kind of vacation. Check out some place or check out something is when you go visit, explore, and see something, usually for the first time. To take in is when you take a moment or when you admire the beauty, the magnificence, or the positivity of something. Take in is when you just admire the beauty. And pop in or pop into is when you go to a place really quickly. So I popped into my friend's party, Mila. Great. Masahiro, I don't want to make dinner today, so we will pop in some restaurant. We will, assuming it's for the future, we'll pop in some restaurant. Gosh, fabulous examples, everybody. Fabulous examples. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. I'm going to come back to me. Hello, hello. So those were the phrasal verbs that we reviewed today to help you express and talk a little bit more about travel. There were 5 phrasal verbs specifically that we learned. You watching the live lesson gave so many great examples, which means you watching the replay of this lesson has great examples to review. However, you are also going to be able to review more examples, and you're going to be able to read the definitions of these travel phrasal verbs on the blog post on Tuesday. So remember, every Tuesday on englishoutsidethebox.com/blog, on my blog on English Outside the Box, every Tuesday there are new English lessons, everyday English lessons. So we have these live lesson videos that you can watch and review the questions that happened live, review the information that happened live, and get some extra help as if you were with me in a real classroom or Skype lesson. So it's really great. These live lessons allow everyone to ask questions as if they're really learning with me. And then you watching the replay, or even when you go back and read the full blog lesson, you're able to review it again, maybe get some information or understand some information you weren't able to the first time, and then again, read the full blog post with extra examples and practice exercises. So below this video on Tuesday on the blog, or if you're watching the replay, below this video right now, there's going to be some practice sentences and questions and exercises for you to review the information that you're learning today. So one of the most important things that you can do as an English learner is practice what you learn and immediately practice what you're reviewing. So you had 5 phrasal verbs today, or you have 5 phrasal verbs today to review. I gave you the opportunity to write some sentences down. Did you write some sentences down? If you didn't, make sure you do it after you watch the video. Next, you'll want to try to use some of these phrasal verbs in a conversation while speaking in English. You can do that in the chat. You can do that with your conversation partner on Skype. You can do it with your friends or your family. You can do it in your English class with your teacher. So there are so many ways that you can practice speaking. You just have to be creative, ask if you don't know, and there are many, many ways that you can connect to speaking with English. So coming back into the chat to answer some questions, she'll pop in my shop to get the necessities before setting off on the journey or before starting off the journey. Good. I wish I could take in the Bay of San Francisco, but I live in Paris, so I'm more in the mood of popping in a coffee shop and asking for a café croissant. Pauline, that's so amazing. So Paris is really cool. I would love to take in the beauty of San Francisco or take in the beauty of Paris. So great. You're in Paris, you're in a great place, is what I'm trying to say. Mila, you're amazing. You are amazing. Thank you. So we're going to wrap up. We're going to end this live lesson. Okay? So if you have questions, remember, you can always continue talking in the chat. If you have a question or you want to connect with somebody to practice English on Skype with a conversation partner, you can comment below this video on YouTube in the comment section to try and connect with somebody to practice the language you've learned today. So that's going to be something that you can do. Additionally, remember, you can learn with me every week on my learning blog, EnglishOutsideTheBox.com/blog. If you want these videos, these lessons, and more English resources sent directly to you in your email inbox, you can sign up for lessons and immediately start getting resources. If you have not signed up, I'm typing the link in the live chat right now. That's EnglishOutsideTheBox.com/sign up. And when you sign up, you'll immediately get English resources, and you'll get English resources, lessons, phrasal verbs, idioms, and tips every week. If you have questions, let me know below in the comments. I hope I helped you learn a lot today, and I hope I helped you take one step further in mastering your everyday English skills. Okay? Have a great day. Happy Saturday. Thank you for learning with me and joining me on this Saturday morning, afternoon, or evening. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.